A great evening, everyone. Welcome to JoyNews Prime. We are coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle. We are live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV channel 125, around the world on myjoyonline.com. I am Pius Kojobaka. Coming up in this bulletin, tomato traders appeal to authorities to provide security escorts to ensure their safety as they travel to neighboring countries to purchase the commodity. Consumers, however, urging traders not to excessively increase tomato prices.
The quantum that they gave it to me as a 50 cedis is very hard, but how am I going to do? It's the situation, so I have to manage it.
Meanwhile, security analyst Kwesi Enin insists government failed to travelers to Burkina Faso after failing to release travel advisories prior to their attack last week.
We know that people travel to Burkina Faso to buy tomato. People have to go further and further into Burkina Faso. Then it raises several very disturbing questions.
Plus, 30-year-old accountant battling for her life as doctors say she needs at least $60,000 for surgery to treat a case of blood cancer. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Please stay for details. Glad you could stay on the look now at our stories. Consumers of tomatoes are appealing to traders to moderate price increases despite recent supply challenges. They acknowledged that the killing of Ghanaian traders in Burkina Faso has disrupted the transportation of tomatoes into Ghana, but say the rising prices are making the commodity increasingly unaffordable, forcing some households to turn to tomato paste as an alternative. Traders, however, argue that recent prices are justified, explaining that much of the available stock is sourced from Abidjan, where procurement and transportation costs have also been higher. Hannah Odame visited the market and filed this report.
500 cedis, 400 cedis, 200 cedis, and 100 cedis. Hitherto, these prices were relatively cheaper. The high cost of tomato on the market has led to lengthier negotiations between sellers and traders. The traders have this explanation.
Yes, Auntie Baby J is saying that there is abundance of tomatoes, but then it's not in Ghana, it's in Burkina Faso. So the ones they have currently is from Abidjan. And according to her, the one from Abidjan is quite pricey. She's hoping that the situation that happened that caused the death of about 8 of the traders will be quickly resolved.
They also plead with the consumers to understand their plight.
180, 70. But they say no more quiet, and they say no be to turn up when a beba mombenian said there. And yes, I said that, and they turn about the. So she is pleading with consumers and those who come to buy from them to understand them when they mention the prices.
Consumers like Joseph Ansah, who was touched by the explanation of the traders, bought the tomatoes without much plea.
Actually, the price itself is very difficult because when you see the quantum that they gave it to me as a 50 cedis, it's very hard, but how am I going to do? It's the situation, so I have to manage it like that.
But Auntie Lizzie unfortunately wasn't successful with her negotiation and had to leave without taking off tomatoes on her market list.
First, I have 10 cedi crab. I have 5 cedi. Was it 35?
Some sellers who cannot afford the new price hike have opted out of the tomato business for now.
Auntie Joyce is saying that she has been selling tomatoes since she was a child. I mean, her mother taught her how to trade in the tomato business. But for 3 weeks now, she has refused to go purchase tomatoes to sell because the price is so exorbitant that she doesn't even know how she's going to sell them to the traders.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odame.
Security analyst Kwesi Enin says the government's failure to issue travel advisories for Burkina Faso may have contributed to the deaths of 8 Ghanaian traders killed by extremists while on a trading trip. He argues that prior warnings could have cautioned or deterred travelers heading into the high-risk area. He made the remarks on his file.
We know that people travel to Burkina Faso to buy tomatoes, and that as the Burkina government establishes its own tomato factories and mops up its production, people have to go further and further into Burkina Faso. Then it raises several very disturbing questions. One, we know that until sometime late last year, when the government managed to get about 71.4% control over their territory, for a very long time, more than 60% of Burkina Faso, particularly the northern parts, were all under terrorist control, particularly Islamic State in the Greater Sahel and JNIM. So if having an external security agency, that is the research department, and having advised Ghanaians, if we take the argument from Ouagadougou and from those who are talking, that some advice was given, then I think something is only natural for our analysts to say, look, how do ordinary Ghanaian tomato farmers negotiate to get their way into territories that a sovereign government's armed forces find difficult to penetrate or to control?
Meanwhile, NPP MP for Ifia Isaac Yabuamanyako says the absence of a substantive defense minister has created what he describes as a structural security breakdown that may have worsened the situation.
Why did we create that ministry? Why do we appoint ministers in those stead? You have a minister for finance, whom you have doubled as the minister for defense. Already at the Ministry of Finance, things are not working. He's facing challenges.
Yeah, Cocoa people.
We in Parliament, we've not even seen the Minister for Finance, who is also a member of Parliament, for over a month. The minister is overly engaged. And you have this at hand. Both Minister for Environment and Defense are dead. How many months down the line? And up till today, you've not appointed minister. Why do we have the Ministry for Defense?
But there's a
you know that the work of a minister is different from a deputy.
There's a deputy, there's also the Interior Minister, there's a Foreign Affairs Minister.
This is where the problem is. We are having structural security breakdown. Because you see, when you have a Minister for Interior, whom you have also doubled as Minister in charge of National Security, already at the Interior Ministry, domestically, we are having challenges. Now you also have a Minister for Finance who is doubling for Minister for Defense. And all of these, in terms of the intelligence gathering, the movement, the assignment of military personnel, you don't have the Ministry of Interior providing security at our borders. That is the function of the Defense Ministry.
To one of our top stories, a 30-year-old accountant at Ghana's leading teaching hospital, Kolebu, is battling her life after doctors recommended she would need at least $60,000 to go through a surgery to treat a case of blood cancer. For 2 years, Gifty Stevens has been through several treatments that have drained her family of thousands of cedis. Now, doctors say unless she raises this amount and gets this procedure done in India as soon as possible, else her life would slip away. In our Joy News 8 series, journalist Justice Beidu has visited her and filed this report.
If life were a straightforward journey where you had everything happen as you wished, Gifty Stevens would be her bubbly self. at her job working as a procurement personnel at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Those who know her say she is affable, kind, and funny. Her days away from work are spent as a Sunday school teacher in the Methodist Church. Then in 2023, all of that will change. Gifty will be diagnosed of Hodgkin's lymphoma, a rare blood cancer that affects the human lymphatic system. This condition shows painless swelling of lymph nodes in the neck, armpit, and the groin. Gifty has fever, sweats profusely at night, and has lost weight drastically. She wants to speak and ask for help. She just cannot.
Oh no, I'm breathlessness. I can't really breathe well. I can't really talk for. Quite a fear of something. Get tired.
In the 3 years since, her family, friends, and all well-wishers have put in all they can to help Gifty get back his health and stay alive. By her sickbed, she's kept company by her beloved auntie, Joyce Stevens, with who she has lived since she was a little girl. Gifty is looking on as her life slips away. But she can be saved. In December 2025, doctors at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital referred her for a procedure in India that could possibly bring her back to normal. The cost of that, $60,000 US, is what is standing between Gifty's life and death.
Now the stage I am, I just want to go. It's then cell transplant. But the money involved is so huge that I saw from my family can take the burden alone. So we're very grateful if you come through to help us. Yeah. It's like I see for
For Gifty, like many Ghanaians suffering from such chronic ailment, the clock is ticking. Each painful attempt to breathe in and breathe out, she looks on in anxiety that some way, somehow, she is able to hold her life back from slipping through her fingers. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Accra.
And if you feel touched by Gifty's story, feel free donate to Gifty's telephone number. All right, let's shift focus to some other stories. The Greater Accra region is set to receive only one of the specialized high courts established by Chief Justice Paul Bafobone to fast-track justice delivery across critical sectors, while several other regions are expected to receive more. Speaking on the law on Joy News, Judicial Secretary Musa Ahmed explained that the decision stems from the absence of legal mining activities in the region, which is one of the primary targets of the newly created courts.
Not limited the establishment of the specialized courts to Accra. Indeed, Accra has only going to have about one court to deal with the mining cases. But if you look at Koforidua, for instance, Eastern region, we are going to have, or we've already put in place 2 courts to deal with them. If you go to Western region, it's going to be more than 1. If you go to Ashanti region, it's going to be more than 1.
What's the rationale?
The rationale is, you mean in terms of the numbers?
Yes.
You deprive Accra, you give Accra only one.
Accra, we noticed that Accra is not one of the places where illegal mining is being done. In fact, all the illegal minings, in fact, they are concentrated in Ashanti region, Eastern region, and in the Western regions. That is the rationale.
He further disclosed plans to introduce mobile courts in areas considered too high risk for the permanent stationing of judges as part of efforts to strengthen access to justice nationwide.
In fact, the reason why we decide, in fact, there's going to be mobile courts as well. We have realized that these offenders in mining cases, apart from having deep pockets, they could be dangerous. We have seen it attacking the NIMOS members, attacking the police, attacking the soldiers, attacking community leaders who go out of their way to go and speak against them. So what we are going to do, where we find that it will be dangerous to station the judge, for instance, in Obuasi, if we find that it will be dangerous for the judge to go there and be stationed there, we are going to create a mobile movement for the judge to be taken to Obuasi as and when the cases arise, to go and deal with those cases, and then he's brought back.
The director of the Domestic Violence and Victims Support Unit, DOVSU, Wusu Achreme, is urging survivors of sexual assault to seek immediate medical care at the nearest health facility. She made the appeal during the commissioning of a therapeutic garden at the unit created to offer a safe and restorative space for survivors as they recover emotionally and psychologically.
The Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit has commissioned a therapeutic garden offering survivors of domestic abuse a peaceful space to recover from trauma even after justice is served. Addressing the gathering, DOVSU Director Wusu Achreme emphasized the importance of immediate reporting and proper medical care for victims of sexual assault.
That please, when you are sexually assaulted, immediately get to the nearest hospital, preferably to DOVSU, but if not, if it's not possible, please go to the hospital, let them take the necessary samples that they have to do, and then later on we can go for the samples and then bring them.
She says the newly opened therapy garden is to provide survivors with a serene environment to reconnect with nature, relax and receive free counseling in a calm and secure setting. This initiative supports DOVSU's efforts by promoting healing beyond physical care, helping victims recover emotionally and psychologically from the trauma of abuse. The project also includes laboratory equipment to strengthen evidence gathering and improve medical documentation services for survivors.
We want to work with the survivor through the justice process as well as the healing process. So beyond justice, there is healing, and that's why we have the garden, the therapeutic garden. So the therapeutic garden is to aid the survivor in her recovering process. We all know that the survivor does not recover in a day or 2 or 3. It can take a year, 2 years, and in fact, in some spaces, they never heal, but they learn to live with the trauma. And so we want to be with them. So in this space is an opportunity for the survivor to come in, to be close to nature. We believe in the power of nature and healing. And so with this garden, a survivor can come and sit in alone, if it's okay for her, or with her counselor. And whilst you are seated here, you can hear the sound of the water, you have the aquarium, the sound of the birds around, and nature, the greens around you. It helps you to meditate. It helps you to relax. It helps you to, give that sign like, it's okay. I mean, you can make it. And then we also have a bar. The bar is whilst you are relaxing here, if you want to take a sip, if you want to drink some water, if you want some hot tea or coffee, we will provide. And all these services are free.
Also, she added that the therapy garden forms part of a broader effort to provide holistic support for survivors, combining counseling, protection, and rehabilitation. With the commissioning of the facility, DOVSU says it is reinforcing its commitment not only to justice, but also to healing and recovery for victims of domestic violence. Now Moko's report, back to you.
Remember, you're still watching JoyNews Prime. We have more for you after this break. Hello, welcome back to JoyNews Prime. To ease infrastructure pressure at the University of Business and Integrated Development Studies, Vice-Chancellor Professor Emmanuel Kanchebe-Debili has announced that the university has secured funding to complete all stalled and abandoned projects across the campus. Since its establishment, the university has faced significant infrastructure deficits in accommodating its growing student population. Professor Debili revealed that the university is also finalizing agreements or arrangements for a large prefabricated classroom complex capable of seating up to 1,000 students at a time. He made the announcement during the university's 6th matriculation ceremony in Wa, where a total of 2,301 students were admitted for the 2025-2026 academic year to pursue undergraduate and postgraduate programs. Rafiq Salam reports.
Speaking at the 6th matriculation ceremony of the university, Professor Emmanuel Kanchebe-Debili formally highlighted the institution's recent name change from the Simon Diedon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies (SDD UBITS) to the University of Business and Integrated Development Studies UBITS. Professor Emmanuel Debili urged the first men and women to take ownership of this transition and work deliberately to build and grow the reputation of the newly branded institution. Addressing the pressing need for facilities to match the university's growing population, the Vice-Chancellor revealed that management is finalizing arrangements for a massive prefabricated classroom capable of accommodating 1,000 students at a go.
We are yet to conclude arrangements for a prefabricated classroom block which can take 1,000 students at a time. And we are hoping that we will be able to conclude negotiations on that as part of this special initiative. The project is valued at $6.6 million US.
He noted that whilst infrastructure projects at the university currently are few, he is of the firm conviction that the ongoing and incoming projects will result significantly in changing the lives of the students at the university.
This initiative is meant to deliver the following projects: a 3-story hostel block comprising 47 rooms with an en-suite facilities and support amenities, a 2-story lecture theatre complex with 8 lecture halls, 22 offices, 4 lecturers' common rooms, 78 lavatories, and a 200 capacity parking lot.
In his address, Professor Emmanuel Debili took a moment to commend the university staff. He acknowledged the daily sacrifices they make despite challenging working conditions and assured them that management is actively working to improve the campus workspace. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And that's it for the package. I am Pius Kojobaka. For more stories, feel free to log on to myjoyonline.com. But I've got to tell you this. A 30-year-old accountant at Ghana's leading teaching hospital at Kolebu is battling for her life after doctors recommended she would need at least $60,000 to go through a surgery to treat a case of blood cancer. And now, for 2 years, Gifty Stevens has been through several treatments that have drained her family of thousands of cedis. Now, doctors say unless she raises this amount and gets this procedure done in India as soon as possible, else her life would slip away. And in our Joy News 8 series, journalist Justice Baidu visited her and filed this report.
If life were a straightforward journey where you had everything happen as you wished, Gifty Stevens would be her bubbly self. at her job working as a procurement personnel at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Those who know her say she is affable, kind, and funny. Her days away from work are spent as a Sunday school teacher in the Methodist Church. Then in 2023, all of that will change. Gifty will be diagnosed of Hodgkin's lymphoma, a rare blood cancer that affects the human lymphatic system. This condition shows painless swelling of lymph nodes in the neck, armpit, and the groin. Gifty has fever, sweats profusely at night, and has lost weight drastically. She wants to speak and ask for help. She just cannot.
Oh no, I'm breathlessness. I can't even breathe well. I can't really talk for. Quite a fear of something. Get tired.
In the 3 years since, her family, friends, and all well-wishers have put in all they can to help Gifty get back his health and stay alive. By her sickbed, she's kept company by her beloved auntie, Joyce Stevens, with who she has lived since she was a little girl. Gifty is looking on as her life slips away. But she can be saved. In December 2025, doctors at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital referred her for a procedure in India that could possibly bring her back to normal. The cost of that, $60,000 is what is standing between Gifty's life and death.
On the stage I am, I went to go stem cell transplant. The money will be so huge that I saw from my family can take the burden alone. So we're very grateful if you come through to help us. Yeah. Like I see for
For Gifty, like many Ghanaians suffering from such chronic ailment, the clock is ticking. Each painful attempt to breathe in and breathe out, she looks on in anxiety that some way, somehow, she is able to hold her life back from slipping through her fingers. Justice Beidou, Joy News, Accra.